First of all, it's important that you know that I'm not like any group, any other people, especially not the whites, the Jews, and the LGBT community. How far they've gone from their orders, from their core center, to sabotage me with over 20 witnesses. How mature, how low they've stooped. I never thought any group of people was capable of stooping to that low, so to speak, because it's fucking ridiculous what they have done. They fume me and poison me, change my shape, try to make me seem more military-like. I despise the military for the role in gang stalking me. I don't want to look like them, and I am not like them. So anyway, in this video, I'm going to prove definitively what the wind stands for, what the clouds stand for, and why I'm Christ, and why there's not going to be any psychological transformation. People are damned to fucking hell because they were acting like bitches for generations. Listen closely. Their judgment is clouded by stupidity, addiction to this world, substances, etc., selfishness, greed, bad genes, and what they don't understand about God's presence. For generations, their lines refuse moral logic and the paths of truth, justice, righteousness, the divine falcon martial arts spirit, and true love. So WIN stands for God in my moral warrior spirit, in and on the clouds, messengers, and chariots, all figuratively. Okay, these are some of the key things it stands for, and it makes my point clear. Okay. A scorching, in Jeremiah 4:11 through 12, a scorching wind from the barren heights in the desert blows toward my people, but not to winnow or cleanse, a wind too strong for that. So they built up their sins too much. It is a wind of judgment. It says, now I pronounce my judgments against them. So going to Psalm 18:10, he soared on the wings of the wind. Psalm 104:3, he makes the clouds his chariot and rides on the wings of the wind. And verse 4, he makes the wind his messengers, flames of fire his servants. Okay. Jeremiah 4:13, look, he advances like the clouds. His chariots come like the whirlwind. His horses are swifter than the eagles. Woe to us, we are ruined. So in another part of the Bible, it basically says they think their horses are swift. He'll make his swifter. Basically, he's saying there's no escape for them. Okay? So again, he soared on the wings of the wind. He makes the clouds his chariot, and he rides on the wings of the wind. He makes winds his messenger, flames of fire his servants. Okay, so it's a scorching wind, right? It's the blood of the saints has frustrated God, all the sexual immorality, all the exploitation, drugging, all the horrible stuff they do, all the way they cheat people in school and otherwise, just cheat, the way people learn, so on and so forth, right? Confusing that and making it seem like they're smarter, on and on and on. God is very angry at the neo-colonialists and everyone rolling with them, which is basically everyone else in the world except for my parents who are blameless. Okay? And it's that simple. After I'm gone, the Royal African Falcon Martial Arts Spirit, the Son of God's Spirit, and I'll prove that definitively shortly, leaves Earth with me and is with God. So they do some bitch ass shit. LGBT community utterly disgraced. You people knew way better. With all your fears and sensitivities, you should have known way better than to change my image and make it seem like I'm a mix between you and some white military guy or something with black skin. Utterly disgraced. Utterly disgraced. Anyway, 14. Jerusalem, wash the evil from your heart and be saved. How long will you harbor wicked thoughts? Well, they didn't. In November 9th, they were cut off. Now it's just a matter of how much the rest of the world is going to suffer forever with their offspring. Not if they're going to heaven, because they're not. Proverbs 34, who but God goes up to heaven and comes back down? Who holds the wind in his fist? So who goes up to heaven and comes back down? So after I die, there's a generational spirit. No other family has a generational spirit that goes up to heaven and comes back down, and people are supposed to rule, people are supposed to be ruled by me. Okay? Man, they act like bitches. See, they use technology and fumes to change the words. Okay, let's face it. They're also frat-ass beta shit. Some Prince Charles, Prince Philip, Prince George type sissy stuff. Freemason cowardice, corporate cowardice, just fucking punks. Just Greek society, hazing, sniveling, joke, prank-ass motherfucking punks. Okay? No, they're not supposed to rule shit. They're lower than dogs in your back fucking yard right now. Fucking weirdos. Anyway, Again, who but God goes up to heaven and comes back down? Who holds the wind in his fist? Certainly not George Washington. So not Prince Harry and William, not Queen Elizabeth, not Bezos, not Gates, not any of these motherfuckers. Not any other race, not Mexicans, not whites, not fucking other black people, not Jews, it is only my family line. Okay? I have to explain this shit. These motherfuckers change my voice because they're so ashamed to be themselves. Okay, and they don't want to hear me saying it the way I would say. Fucking pathetic, just sniveling worms. Oh, we can't bear your voice. Just fucking punks. Okay, if you were in my shoes, you'd be pissed the fuck off. You had a peck of sense. You'd just hate them. You'd hate them. You'd hate them, and you love me for what I'm doing. Anyway, so who but God goes up to heaven and comes back down? Holds the wind in his fists? Who wraps up the oceans in his cloak? Who has created the whole wide world? What is his name and his son's name? Tell me if you know. Okay, so it says, hello, he wrapped up the wind. Remember, the wind stands for, it's like the wings of the angels, the warrior spirit of God, right? He rides on the wings of the wind. He makes the wind his messengers, angels messengers. He makes the clouds his chariot, okay? So wind stands for God and my moral warrior spirit, in and on the clouds, messengers, and chariots, all figuratively. So who is wrapped up this kind of forceful kind of spirit of God, this marshaling spirit of God, who holds the wind in his fists? In another version, it's who has wrapped up the winds, or something like that, in the New International Version, with his hands. So holds the winds in his fist, the right hand of God, the warrior hand of God, and the Bible makes that clear that that's what the right hand of God is. It's a warrior hand that punishes, it brings order, etc. Okay, so everyone here should know that the earth is like a floating fucking toilet. Isaiah 57 makes that clear. The righteous are taken away to be spared from evil. No one takes it from heart. But he says, you children of sorcerers, you offspring of adulterers, come here. Come where? It's to the world where Satan is going to abuse them and their souls are going to be punished by me forever. That's how the Bible ends. Okay? And you have people acting like complete homosexual serial killer sissies or something, going, mocking me, going, I'm melting, and acting like bitches. Can you imagine a Nigerian in the face of some Rick Moranis type motherfucker and says, you need to obey God's work? And they're like, poison him, change his voice, film him. I mean, it's some fucking pathetic shit that I'm seeing. Never have I even heard of anything more sissy and pathetic than the rest of the world's response to my presence and God's orders on them. And they deserve, with them and their offspring, because their genes are so horrible, to be punished by the devil on earth until they die. Okay, that's what 1,000 years, of Jesus reigning and da-da-da. The devil's allowed to run around for a while. One way to interpret, the most logical way, is he's allowed to run around in your lives on this world. Okay, and then the number year of completion, okay, it takes place in the afterlife one way or another. It takes place forever with me punishing these people. They're thrown into the lake of fire and judged according to the deeds. The Bible didn't always fucking confusing. I resent the Bible. I resent Revelation. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on what the white man would tell you is the translation of Revelation. I don't give a fucking shit what the white man would tell you. Okay? The white man, show me one white person of God in fucking history. They don't exist. The closest thing is my mother. Okay? It's the only white person in the history of humanity that I know is right with God is my mother. So I don't give a shit about their interpretation. I don't give a shit about their translation. She doesn't really read the Bible. Okay? This is what it is. This is how it is. Okay? I chastise people according to their deeds. What you white-skinned people have done to me and my family and to the world is unforgivably sick. No, you will not go to heaven. Neither will anyone else but me and my parents, because you did not obey God through me. Go back to my videos. I go on and on and on about what you need to do. Obey God through me. November 9th came and I cut you motherfuckers down. Psalm 118. All the nations surrounded me, but in the name of the Lord I cut them down. The wicked go down to the realm of the dead. All the nations that forget God. You forgot God and were focused on your own stupidity, greed, and addictions, and this is what you get. Life is short. There was no excuse. You wanted to be bitches. You wanted to be the devil's bitch. You'll be the devil's bitch, and then your souls will be tortured forever in the afterlife with your offspring. Okay? You're fucking dumb for not obeying me.